Welcome to live coverage of the Rocky Mountain ATV GNCC here on RacerTV.com. We're out here for round number 11 of the 2017 AMSOIL GNCC Racing Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. We're here in Masontown, West Virginia to see if Walker Fowler can pick up his 10th win on the season after coming off the big win, clinching the 2017 National Championship. Now let's take it down to Rodney Tomlin at the start line.
Your starting lineup for this Rocky Mountain ATV MC Mountaineer Run GNCC as we look to the starting line and introduce to you our top off-road ATV cross-country racing stars. And of course, as we get set to roll into this big day here, the unofficial homecoming of GNCC Racing, he's on the verge of possibly tying a great record of 10 wins in one season. Will he be able to make that happen here today? We'll find out as we get set to roll. Aboard the number 1 out of Rogers, Ohio, on a WFR Yamaha, backed by Maxxis, Fly, MMF, LSR, and MXP, your 3-time GNCC champion, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line today, second in points aboard the 521. He is a West Virginia native out of Waverly on a CST Tires Induction Solutions LSR Hyper Spider Graphics backed Honda, Adam McGill. Rolling to the line today, third in points aboard the number 5 from Bidwell, Ohio. They call him the Bullet on a coastal racing Yamaha, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line next, he is fourth in points, riding aboard the number 3, a 6-time GNCC champion in the rider with the most wins in history of any GNCC racer out of Sunbury, Pennsylvania, the Maxxis Fly Racing AMSOIL Suzuki, Chris BORICH. Rolling to the line fifth today in points aboard the number 4, fresh off a podium from out of New York out of Casca, Pennsylvania himself on a JMR ATVRiders.com Honda, the Snake, Jared McClure. Rolling to the line next, he is 6th in points. He rides aboard the number 7 from Glenville, Pennsylvania on a GBC Motorsports Canyon Fly Racing backed Honda, LW7, Landon Wolfe. Up next, a racer that has enjoyed racing in 4 decades of GNCC racing. He got his first win ever earlier this season aboard the number 13 from Aurora, Ohio on a GBC Fly Racing HMF Yamaha, Johnny GALLAGHER. Rolling to the line next today, 8th in points aboard the number 8. A rookie here in 2017 out of Richford, New York on a Dillinger's Pub GBC Motorsports Moose Racing Honda, Marty Christopherson. Fresh off his strongest finish ever as an XC1 rider on the 741, a rookie as well from Myersville, Maryland on a EO Cycle Barn Walsh Hetrick Racing ATV Innovation Solo Pilot Suzuki, Wesley Wolfe. Rolling to the line today, 10th aboard the number 10. He hails from Akron, Ohio on a B&R Motorsports Maxxis Pro Graphics backed Yamaha, Josh MERRITT. Rolling to the line next, out of Denville, New Jersey, a rookie on a JMR ATVRiders.com backed Honda, the number 14, Randy Hamilton. Aboard the 201 from Carroll, Ohio on a Pierce Performance Maxxis Mooseback Yamaha, Cody Collier. Hailing from these mountains of West Virginia, riding aboard the 149 from Montrose, West Virginia on the Sturdy Van Racing Honda, Brad Sturdyman. Rolling to the line next aboard the number 20. Out of St. Mary's, West Virginia, out of JK Racing, AC Motorsports, Pirate MX backed Honda, James Green. And aboard the number 816, all the way from Grain Valley, Missouri, on a Shockwork Motorsports, Spider Graphics, GBC Tires backed Honda, Tucker Wyatt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this, the Mountaineer Run GNCC, as our top riders are making their way onto the starting line. Over 300 riders on the line earlier this morning, and we add the riders getting ready to roll next. And my friends, we have got ourselves a great race day that is about to take place here on Marvin's Mountaintop. One of the warmer days we've seen in recent weeks anyway, as they fire them up, and Ricky Towery getting these guys ready to go. Temperatures in the lower 80s. 2 weeks ago, we were faced with temperatures only in the 50s. It was a lot cool. And a whole different scenario in upstate New York. Well, here in the mountains of West Virginia, in the heart of the GNCC racing nation, and of course the birthplace of GNCC itself, we are looking at a very beautiful fall day to kick off the first weekend of fall here in 2017. The riders have been hydrating. They are all ready for the conditions, they say. And though it may not be the hottest day of the year, this is one of the warmer days we have experienced in the last few weeks. So it is going to take a few moments to get acclimated to this. And this, my friends, is going to be an amazing day of racing. Can Walker Fowler make the 10 wins? Can somebody else step up and take a win? Will Johnny Gallagher make it happen here for a second time in 2017? Those questions and more will be answered in about 2 hours and 1 minute, as we are now less than 1 minute away from going GNCC racing here. Our attention turns to Ricky Towery up in turn number 1, where right now he readies himself into the position. The next cue we see for him will be that blue flag waving, and that means we'll be less than 30 seconds away. Shut him down, guys. Shut him down. Shut him down. Shut him down. Shut him down. It's almost time to go. And I got to ask you, West Virginia race fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Well, these guys had their bikes running, and I barely could hear you, but I got to think, being in the heart of GNCC racing here, I would think you guys can do a little better than that. So let's try this one more time. I got to ask you, West Virginia, are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at a Rocky Mountain ATV MC Mountaineer Run GNCC. And here they go, round the first turn. It is the 741 of Wesley Wolfe grabbing the Hot Cams All Balls Whole Shot Award. Brett Sturdyman in the number 2 spot, as we turn our attention down to the XC2 Pro-Am class. Greg Covert, Devin Feehan, Hunter Hart. Keep an eye on these three. They're going to be in a major war. Welcome Steve Covert to the XC2 class today. Kenny Schick, Levi Cohen, Kenneth Kelly, Wes Kinsley, Devin Masters, Bryson Hobbs, Matthew Lindell, Charles Dunn, Brandon Barnes, Cameron Bruce, Brandon Eicher, Taylor Arnold, Jay Wagner, Billy Dalton, Sam Huff, and Jesse Kelly, all ready to roll on Ricky Towery's cue. 10 seconds. And Hunter Hart to the first turn first. Can he hang on to it? Oh, what a battle. And Hart will get the whole shot award, but what's going to happen past that? Looks like the 31 of Kenny Schick from Newcastle, PA, is going to grab the early lead away from Hart. Let's see how that all pans out as we go to the College A. Caleb Hagan, Joey Lambright, Cage Crispin, Drew Landers, Nick Royalty, Joseph Yerkson, David Carpenter, Andrew Bamboski, Mitchell Edelblut, also Seth Wilson, McCain Jennings, John Glotta, Eli Kiger, Colin Dunn, Tanner Walker, and Bodie Lamoureux. All ready to roll next as we wait for Ricky Towery to see that there is a clear track for these riders. College A class getting set to roll as Ricky lets them know it's time to go in 10 seconds. is going to get the early lead. 9:69 gets Bodie Lamoureux out of Windsor, New York. Recognition, that's about all he gets, but maybe even an early lead. Junior A class, Nick Mastrangelo. We got James Mauger, Andrew Connors, Matt Galova, Jade Millwood, Doug Morris, Brody Livingood, Robert Mapp, Chris Ballou, Derek Kropp, Zachary Dean, Zach Wright, and Jay Turner in 10 seconds. The 44, see what that translates into. I think it's the 7:44, we'll see. Yes, it is. Jay Turner out of Albright, West Virginia. I think that last little shout out by his pit crew over there might have given him the incentive. Vet A coming up next. AJ Kuntz, Jeff Pickens, Corey Blinkowitz, Todd Muscala, the Marlboro Man, Eric Vallejo, Tommy Thompson, Kevin Patterson, Walter Schumacher, Jared Little, Corbin Knox, Dustin Hendershot, and Adam Reed in 10 seconds. Jeffrey Pickens, Big Papa P. Great jump off the line and about 2 bike lengths going around that second turn is the lead that he enjoys. And we turn our attention down to the senior AB class. 4 riders strong with Bobby Ousley, Michael Hayes, Chris Berry, and Brian Shaw all ready to roll next as Ricky Towery readies these riders. We're less than 30 to go. Now we are 10 seconds. Whoa, a little tangle up there by that one rider, but we got the 823, or 828, Brian Shaw from Harrisville, Pennsylvania out front. College B coming up next, Donald Boylan, Trevor Taylor, Michael Anderson, Ty Barker, Austin Weller, Ezra Barrett, Cade Vanderpool, Chase Fetro, Levi Myers, Emily Wise, Chase Allison, Ryan Vest, Chandler Berner, Jesse Parker, Carter Kearns, Michael Orabello, 10 seconds. Corey Vanderliner, Cameron Abbey, and Mikey Nichols. Wow, Mikey Nichols. See how this goes for him today. On the first turn, it is 384. And I don't have that number, so. I've got junior B class ready to go. Maybe I'm off a row here. Maybe this is our college B. Yep. Up next, I got junior B, I believe. It's David Kite, Charles Rogers, Denny Rowe, William Wallace, Evan Timko, Evan Soda. 10 seconds. Curtis Tarman, Ben Danner, Reese Parvin, Chasen Bush, and Cameron Klein. .235, William Wallace out of Street, Maryland on a B&R Motorsports Scott Goggles Maryland Mafia machine. And our final class to start here this afternoon, the Vet B30 Plus, Lyle Morrison, Jeremy Gouchard, Aaron Hendershot, Adam Sadlon, Justin Kerr, John Salsa, Brian Vasco, New York Dave Napo, and Nathan Pierce all ready to roll in 10 seconds. And they're off. Who's going to grab this early lead here today? 4:56. I must be off a class or something. I don't have the 4:56 on here. But anyway, that is going to do it as far as starts go here today. As we look down on our starting line, got ourselves a great run. Wesley Wolfe, the rookie, coming off his best finish ever there at Unadilla with the 4th place. The early lead in this one. Stick around. Let's find out how he and the rest of the field is doing here to Mountaineer Run GNCC.
GNCC is Bald Eagles, 50 cal, cowboy boots, diesel trucks, Copenhagen, Bush Light kind of men.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
I'm Barry Hawk, 8-time GNCC champion, current Coastal Racing team manager. Coastal Racing depends on Evans coolant because there is a lot of variables in GNCC racing. Toughest, most demanding sports there is. From my experience, without a doubt, Evans is the way to go. We have it in all of our race bikes, our race ATVs, our UTVs. It is for sure, without a doubt, a must on our race team. The pros use Evans coolant, and so should you.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. I'm Mikey Waynes. I'll be joined in a moment by Rodney Tomlin. I think Kevin Trantham will be in the booth with us today. So want to welcome everybody out here for round number 11 of 13 here in Masontown, West Virginia. We've got our leader on the monitor. Is it still? I need to take my sunglasses off. It was Wesley WOLFE on the whole shot, I believe, but I can't quite make out who is out in front. Maybe that's Brett Sturvant. Let's see if we can't. Oh, we got a local guy out in front, so kudos to the local West Virginian, Brett Sturvant. I hope I'm saying Brett's name right. We'll get her that right now. And a cloud of dust behind him. But two guys right there battling for second place, one right after another, almost tire to tire as they come through the dust. Haven't had to really deal with this dust to this point, but it was something that the pro riders were talking about in the out on VP Racing Fuels Pro Row in the CST Tires pre-race report was the dust. They expected it to be a bit of a nuisance here this afternoon, and you're looking at your monitor, your screen right now, and that's absolutely true. So before we get too far into this one, we're going to take a look at the highlights out of round number 10 there in Unadilla. The Parts Unlimited Unadilla GNCC. Let's take a look at those. So there we've got our pros taking off there, the XC1, and Chris BORICH, man, had a real strong start. He ended up catching a tough break toward the end there, but you see Walker Fowler there moving into second place, and Landon Wolf behind him in third. Been a long day. So here we still see Chris BORICH out in front, working on a pretty good lead in front of Walker, but overall they're just one right after another. They're heading into lap number 1, heading into the woods section right there, tire to tire. And then as that race went on, Walker starting to pull out in front right there. He's in front of Chris BORICH, but third and fourth come up the motocross section there at Unadilla, and you can see, and I'll be honest, he didn't really look back. Chris BORICH, I guess, not too far behind him right there. But it was the Walker Fowler that took the win for him that day, and it gave him his another national cheats, and the celebration was on, man. He's wiping that number 1 plate off. Give her a good smack, and that'll do it. That'll do it right there. Great shot. Congratulations to Walker Fowler there on another championship season, and call me crazy, I don't think it's going to be the last one. I just don't. So now we're going to take a look at a replay of the XC1 hole shot here at the Mountaineer Run. So here's a good look at the XC1 hole shot. That kid was a big Walker Fowler fan. Oh, and that's McGill that goes down in the first turn, but it was the rookie Wesley Wolfe who got the hole shot. So, man, talk about starting from the back of the pack. Adam McGill is going to have his work cut out for him here as he goes down right there in the first turn. It's a rough start, but, man, kudos to Wesley Wolfe. My goodness, like a man on a mission. So now we're back live here, at the, I believe, the FMF PowerPoint. And you take a look at these rocks. I mean, you're getting a good look at it there. These are just guys walking through there. And I think we're actually going to take a look at the track description so you guys can have sort of a bird's eye view as to what to expect from today's track. But that right there, my friends, is a good indication of what's out there. And we're going to check in. We had a chance to talk with Jared Bolton to give us our course description.
Thanks, guys. We're back here in Masontown, West Virginia. This marks the 6th time we've been here for the Mountaineer Run GNCC. But before that, this place actually hosted a good number of local races. So there's a lot of different trail out there, and there's a lot of different things you're going to encounter here. For one, there's rocks. There's also roots. There's good flowing trails. There's some tight trails. There's also some rocks. And then you got a little bit of mud here and there. And did I mention there's rocks? So basically what I'm telling you is this is a very rocky. Gravel Snowshoe is one of the tougher courses of the season. And what's unique in places that have this much rock at it. But here we get there, and you're going to see that today, that it really makes a heck of a challenge for these guys. The rock's loose, it rolls around, and it's really tough to ride in. So that's a good thing about this track. It's got something for everybody, and if you like rock, this year is we've mixed things up a little bit. We've ran into some sections that we haven't ran because they've actually logged a few sections of those, got onto some older trail and mixed things up a little bit. So all in all, I think this is the best Mountaineer course we've ever had.
Bird's eye view here of our track. Man, that's as good as it gets. I'm so glad we started doing this. So you can see it's just rocks and rocks and rocks out there picking some lines for their. And we're well underway now here at the West Virginia, kind of our homecoming, if you will, here of 13. Can you believe that? Well, we don't have necessarily the hill climb that we had a couple weeks ago in Unadilla. That one claimed its number of riders, pro riders, XC1 guys. But here today, we've got this rock section that these guys are going to have to battle with, and we've got some mud fleas, or today we may even call them rock fleas, man. I don't know. It's they're going to have their work cut out for them here at the FMF PowerPoint. But they are out in full force and ready and willing to help. That's mile marker number 7 there. So, Rodney, this start to this one, we've got a local guy out in front. We got a rookie with the hole shot.
I like how you look at me and you say, we got some local guy.
I had no idea. Chelsea's telling me, and I'm like, I don't know.
Brent Sturdivant is Sturdivant, depending on who you talk to. But Brent is is basically a mainstay in GNCC and has been for many, many years. I know for the last 10, 12 years or better, he's been part of. We watched him go up through the ranks and the pro ranks, and he's always been a threat. He's always been a man on a mission each and every time he comes out. He's not been one of those riders, especially of recently, that's been kind of like the guy that everybody talks about all the time, because Brent doesn't have necessarily the same type of programs. It's more of a fun type atmosphere for him to come out and race. He has his own life that he lives, and this is just part of it. While guys like Walker Fowler and McClure, that's what they focus on in their life. He has other things he focuses on. This is just his fun time. He was last week racing at the Mountain Festival, that located, I believe, down near Elkins, West Virginia. He and Adam McGill actually took the win of the Mountain Fest. Brent took second place position, and Brent is more than capable of taking a GNCC win, especially when you take these conditions into consideration. He is a West Virginia boy. He likes the rocks. He likes it rough, and he is very, very tough at all.
Well, just as soon as I think well, there we go. Now we've got to change up. So now we got Walker Fowler out in front, gingerly working that rock section.
Walker Fowler in route right now. Today he has a mission, and that is to win. And I talked to Walker. He said they're doing a lot of testing here in these last 3 rounds of racing, but he hopes to still be able to take the wins and so forth. But the main thing that he's looking for today is to take that 10th win of 2017. And if he can do that, that will tie him with the number 3 of Chris BORICH, who is a 6-time GNCC champion. He had 10 wins in one season, as did Caleb Russell on the two-wheel side of things. The thing is, Walker's got an opportunity. If he wins here today, ties it, he can break that that record, set another record that Walker Fowler is just very well known for, and we'll see what he can do with that. More riders going by here, as we can see that there's Chris BORICH. That looks, what was that, like 6th place, I think?
I believe so, yeah.
So we don't necessarily expect it to be super dusty in the wooded sections, but one thing that's going to help out with that is the rocks. There's not hardly, if any, moisture up there. We are in mountainous terrain. The water, when it does rain, runs off. There hasn't been rain here for a little while, so things are kind of dry around here. In some of these open sections, there's going to be a lot of dust that's kicking up for these riders, and that's nothing that they're not necessarily used to, or the conditions that they haven't faced. And one thing to point out, it won't be the worst conditions they face either.
I believe, was that McGill moving through right there? That put him, if that was McGill, I think that was, what, 9th place?
Yeah, I think we might have saw L one through there a few moments ago as well, the number 7 of Landon Wolfe. But how about it for Wesley Wolfe, man?
Yeah.
The rookie coming off of his best finish at Unadilla GNCC, ran 3rd the whole day, basically about 2 miles to go on the moto track of all things, makes a mistake, and he drops back to the 4th place position. So we just got an update, and I believe, Mikey, you're going to have to grab that microphone and head on over. It sounds like Wesley Wolfe. So, Digital Dave, come on over here and give us that real quick update, and we're going to find out what's going on. But Wesley Wolfe having some shock issues already, from what we understand, and also, Landon Wolfe is the one that stopped in. Okay, Landon Wolfe.
Landon Wolfe was in. He had to replace a rear shock. We helped him get him up on the stand, and he was changing his parts out, and shortly after that all started, in came McGill. Looked like a rear shock as well.
Wow. So some of these strong riders are already putting their machine through the test, it looks like.
It really is. This is brutal terrain here. A lot of the riders are all talking about how aggressive the terrain is here, and how it's pretty hard on the machines. You can see on the TV screen right there, coming through the rock areas. There's a close-up on the event T-shirt.
Yeah.
Right over there, Moto T.
Well, on the event T-shirt this weekend, as you folks were watching that, saw that shot there on RacerTV here at 7 mile marker, that event T-shirt featuring Josh MERRITT, the number 10 we've seen on there, who is one of the up-and-coming stars, had a pretty phenomenal season so far this season, and also the 825 Ethan Fincher, that's a memorial shirt for him. Ethan, we lost him, I believe it was on Labor Day weekend. He was involved in a traffic accident. He was one of our junior class riders out there, and unfortunately, he was taken from us way too soon, and we here in the GNCC Racing Nation, if you were tuned in early, you might have saw that we paid tribute to his life and celebrated his life here as a part of the GNCC Racing Nation. Had a balloon launch. It was really nice. Some other nice things that they've done. You've seen a lot of folks. Saw a lot of folks out there with those commemorative T-shirts, and then of course, not only that, we have commemorative bibs that folks can purchase at Moto Tees. And those bibs, actually, all the proceeds from those will go to the local food pantry at which Ethan would volunteer at with his grandmother. So I think it's a pretty neat thing that Moto Tees is doing there, and also putting Ethan on the event shirt like that was a great deal of respect to he and his family as well.
I've seen quite a bit of them being worn around by the riders. That is a nice tribute to keep that alive.
Right now, continuing to watch, I believe it says we are at the 7 mile marker. We'll get some updates on things. As far as lap times go, we are 22 minutes, according to what I'm looking at here, into this race right now, and not real sure how long the laps are going to be. I am assuming somewhere, wow, that rider's already taken a beating, it looks like. At least that machine has, Digital Dave, as we see stalled out there. And these rock sections like this is just one of many. If you heard the course descriptions, or if you've been out on this track, and you have in years past, this is just a small section of what they're looking at. That's a lot of that out there, huh?
Really, you're only seeing a small portion of the track right here on the TVs, and there's quite a few of the rock gardens out and about. I know they're set up at the power points to get some of the nicest action. but don't be fooled. That's quite everywhere on this track.
That's pretty much everywhere you look.
You have some open fields and some good running, and you also have some dusty areas out there. But it appears back in the woods, it's looking like it's nowhere near as dusty as you're getting out in the open.
Well, I don't think they can get that speed. They can't get down to the dirt so much, so it's not kicking up. It is dry and it is dusty out there, and they've got plenty of places to go. So we're not seeing, I don't think, a lot of that kick up. Now, if a line gets burned in there, and if we're fortunate enough to get down to some soil, we might start to see it get a little bit dustier. But right now, I think they just got to worry about getting through all these rocks, and machines are certainly being put to the test here today. Mechanics, I hope you prep your machines properly.
Well, I mean, you can tell right off the bat with Landon Wolfe and Adam McGill both coming in with blown rear shocks, and of course it's taking its toll on the riders. It's a brutal sport to begin with, and when you put these conditions out in front of it as well, machines are the first ones to give. Usually the riders want to keep going.
That rider wants to keep them going, but his machine has given up. I don't think you could have said that any better as we've been watching that rider for the last couple of minutes here in this Rock Garden section.
Hey guys, I got an update for you for McGill there. It's exactly what you're talking about. That rear shock broke the reservoir, so he's able to get in here, get it pitted. They got it fixed. He's back out there, but that's where he stands right now, just kind of out there cruising, see if he can't make something happen before the end of this one.
Wow, what a heartbreaker there for McGill. I mean, obviously a favorite to win here in his home state. A lot of folks looking forward to that possibility. Obviously, that is not necessarily going to be the case. There's that dust that folks were talking about, one of our open field sections. Starting to kick up a little bit, but again, a light breeze blowing here today. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. It's not going to be laying around a whole lot. I think the fog was thicker than the dust this morning as we rolled into the first part of the racing. There's Bryson Neal, the 9.5 mile marker, and he's getting the go, go, go sign. I believe he's still trying to track down that number 1 of Walker Fowler. And a lot of folks are putting a lot of stakes and a lot of their money, I guess you could say, on Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet this weekend. And something about he and his machine. I talked to Bryson before the race. There is also, I see the snake back there, and who is that just ahead of him right now? But was talking with Bryson Neal. Bryson says he always names his quads. We knew of Hank the Tank and a few other ones, but I asked him what the name of this one. There's Walker Fowler making his way in now. Let's see if he's completed his first lap. He's on Walker Fowler is in. That's exactly where he was at. So Walker Fowler in with a 25-24 on that lap time. Here comes the second place ride, and that is the number 5 of Bryson Neal checking in now. The official gap between that is 20 seconds now, 20.3. Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, as we were talking about this young man. Anyway, the name of this particular quad, and he didn't even realize it until I pointed it out, the correlation. He says, I've been watching a lot of Rocky Balboa films here lately, and he says, I kind of deemed this particular quad as Rocky. And I said, wow, dude. I said, you couldn't ask for a better name under these conditions. And his eyes got real big. He says, you're right. Rocky quad, Rocky track. Maybe we can make something happen here today. So that's what Bryson Neal's trying to make happen. Britt Sturdyvat in the number 3 position out of Montrose, West Virginia, running another 19.3 seconds back of Bryson Neal. Jared McClure, the Snake, is running in the number 4 spot, 1.5 seconds off that pace. That's the battle we were seeing going in there a moment ago. There is Wesley Wolfe, your whole shot award winner, in the 5th place position. And on screen right now, it's the battle for the 2 lead. That is Hunter Hart leading that one. He's also riding a Suzuki, and Devin Feehan is hot on his rear wheels behind him right now. Other riders checking in right now: Chris BORICH, Josh Merritt, Cody Collier in 6th, 7th, and 8th. Johnny Gallagher checks in 9th place position. But let's find out where those front XC2 Pro-Am riders are going to check in with the rest of this field out here. Those two really deep into, I think, some of the XC1 class riders. And let's see, there is, well, Hunter got a Yamaha, I guess is what they're listing him as. I know in years past he had been running the Suzuki, but he is running a yellow quad that kind of resembles his hero of Chris BORICH for many, many years. He did that even as a youth rider, and he continues that tradition right on up into his XC2 ranks right now. So as we take a look at that, here it is, Fowler, Neal, Sturdyvat, McClure, Wolfe, your top 5. It is Cody Collier in 6th, Chris BORICH in 7th, Josh Merritt in 8th. Hunter Hart checks in the 9th place position overall, leading the XC2 Pro-Am class. Greg Covert, the number 9, rounds out your top 10. He is 2nd out of Ithaca, New York in that Pro-Am class. And then Johnny Gallagher drops to 11th overall with Marty Christopherson in 12th overall. And ironically, Marty normally running wheel-to-wheel with those riders that are behind him. Covert and Hunter Hart in the Wanoa series in the off weeks of GNCC. So kind of interesting to note that they have a slight advantage over Marty Christopherson, one of their nemesis, on time adjustments right now. But physically on the racetrack, he's still ahead of these boys. And physically on the racetrack and on time adjustments, Fowler, Neal, Sturdivant, Jared McClure, and Wesley Wolfe. But man, I know a lot of folks may be all pumped up, and you should be, and continue to be so, because that's the kind of things that gets these riders through these types of events, and that is pumping these guys up, guys like Brent Sturdivant, the local heroes, so to speak, that could do what some folks deem as the impossible. But that's what GNCC racing is all about. On any given race day, any individual that lines up on that starting line, front row to back row, has an opportunity to win. And it's not surprising, not overly surprising sometimes to see that happen. I don't know that I've ever seen an overall not come from an XC. I'm going to have to rethink that. Maybe I have seen that happen. That's kind of interesting. We'll have to go back and search the history of that. But it doesn't happen, and I'll say that. But the possibility certainly does exist out there. As we're joined back in the booth once again by Mikey Waynes. And Mikey, I tell you, the atmosphere down in the pro pits, what's it seeming like right now?
Well, I will tell you, I actually had a chance to catch up with Landon Wolf's pit crew as well. And I said, man, what happened to Landon? And they said, well, everything you just said about Adam McGill, double it. Exact same thing, exact same spot. He said he went to go either left or right. Well, I guess obviously would have been left of McGill to miss him as he was going down. Someone hit his rear shock, reservoir comes off. Exact same problem. So both of those guys, that's not how you want to start a race. So
no,
back's
not.
Kind of against the walls.
And I'll tell you, just from experience, I have ridden, and I know people get sick of hearing me say this, but I have ridden shotgun with Larry Hendershot at this particular event in a side-by-side. And I'll tell you, I know we destroyed a $30-some-thousand car. It had 2 wheels. We were being pulled across the white flag lap, and we couldn't finish it after that. But yeah, exactly, man. I mean, those little scenarios, you get stopped in those rocks, and you get all twisted up, and then somebody jams into you, knocks this loose, knocks that loose, and then you catch it on another rock, and you rip it off. I mean, it's crazy what this particular race right here will do. And, you know, that might be a reason that we're not seeing a huge number of riders turn out, because this is a true GNCC racers course. I mean, this isn't for the faint of heart, there's no doubt.
That's for sure. Yeah, I can't remember. I want to say it was Bryson Neal kind of touched on that a little bit. I believe it was him in the pre-race report about how, you know what, you want to come out here at this race, you want to have a good, clean race, and you want to come away and not break anything. So I think that's just part of the mindset going into this one, is just making sure that you're covering your butt, so to speak. And speaking of Bryson Neal, prior to today's race, we actually had a chance to catch up with Bryson.
The work's been put in. We trained our butts off those last 2 weeks, and the bike's prepared. My dad did a good job, so man, everything's just set to sail. So hopefully today, get our head out of our butt, get off the line, and get out there front, because it's going to be dusty today, and not have to try to fight to the dust. It's going to be real rocky. Just stay out front, minimize mistakes, man, and just bring home that, hopefully bring home that first win today. For me, the biggest thing to beat Walker is I got to get off the line, you know what I mean? I think the last race, 3 out of the 4 last laps, I had faster lap times, you know, but whenever you're over a minute back coming from the pack, that's just a piece of paper, you know what I mean? But for me, I'd get off the line, and I really want to try to get up on him and see what we can do. You know, I think I got something for him. We haven't really got to race each other one-on-one all year long, so we're the 2 young guys of the group, so it's bound to happen here sometime very soon.
Well, I tell you, the biggest surprise to me is the fact that he's still talking about getting that first win. That's probably one of the things that stuck out in my mind more than anything. I really expected Bryson Neal to be in the center of the box before now, but we got to look at the circumstances at which he's racing Walker Fowler.
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's the circumstance.
That's
period.
the exact truth. There's no way around it. Walker's just a man on another planet right now. But I love you actually talked about or whatever his draw to Rocky recently. And kudos, Bryson. That's also my favorite franchise of films. And I think of the Rocky Balboa, where he said, "If you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth." And I think that's Bryson's mentality. He's not giving up till he can be center of the box.
Hey, yo, Adrian. So in this case, would Walker Fowler be Apollo Creed quite possibly?
Oh, that's yeah.
Or wait a minute, I guess that would be a squad.
Yeah, there we go.
Would be Apollo. So yeah.
Yep.
So Rocky and Apollo. That's what we're going to start calling.
There we go. I'm good with
Walker. So there you go, folks. A look insight into the Bidwell Bullet and what he's looking for. That's a first win. You know, he wants to be on top of that box, and he's not going to stop until he gets it. Britt Sturdivant, according to Time Clock, I'll be interested to see whether or not McClure's been able to get around. I'll say it's probably been a tough one for McClure. McClure's advantage right now is endurance. Britt Sturdivant, as we said, endurance is one thing, but adrenaline is another thing. And these West Virginia fans, if they can keep that adrenaline pumping for a little bit longer, they might be able to secure Britt up in that front pack. But time is going to tell that story. As right now we are just, according to my update, it says, what, 33 minutes into this race, 34 minutes into this race, 34:22 as we look at the television monitor now. Take a look at the history here at the run, going all the way back to 2013, the last 4 years. We actually have been here since 2012. But anyway, the last 4 years anyway, we see Adam McGill, Chris BORICH, Chris Bithell, Jared McClure, and Walker Fowler. And then I want you to look at this. Walker Fowler, Chris BORICH, Adam McGill, Jay Shadron, Cole Richardson. Adam McGill, Walker Fowler, Chris BORICH, Bryson Neal, Jared McClure. Walker Fowler won last year in 2016. Richardson second, not here with us this year. Jared McClure, Adam McGill. What are the names? I mean, the BORICH, the McGill, the Fowler, the McClure. Those are the names that keep coming and popping up time and time again at each one of those particular things. Those guys, you know, oftentimes are the riders we see in the front of the pack at most any given race, but in reality, those are the guys that really seem to excel a little more so in these types of conditions than most other riders do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think it comes down to that. I'm sorry. What is that? What the heck is that?
I think it's a sloth.
I'm going sloth. I think you're right. Oh, well, it's a man dressed as a sloth.
Sloth.
No, but those four riders in particular, like you were saying, I think it comes down to an endurance thing. I think it makes a huge difference what they're doing outside of the racetrack. You know, who's putting in the training, who's going the extra miles on the bike. You know, all those things are a factor. And who has the best sloth costume also comes in.
Well, he's a pretty big shaker and mover for a sloth, man. I mean, he's moving around, and he's already getting where he's not the mask sloth man now. And of course, 36 minutes into this one, as we take a look at this right now, again, Fowler, Neal, Sturdivant. The cool thing is we got a great battle going on. Hunter Hart is now 10th place overall. Greg Cover in 12th. Here's the amazing thing. I just saw this. Look at this. We got the 7-12 of John Glotta up in 8th place overall from the college A 16 to 24-year-old line. And I know a lot of folks have been waiting. So we got our leaders coming into the monitor now. There's Walker Fowler. Look at that. That's something you don't see him doing. He kind of looked back with a little bit of urgency. I'm sure he's trying to see how much dust he's kicking up. And where is the Bidwell Bullet of Bryce Neal? He was only about 20 seconds back before. Walker's not comfortable with 20 seconds. He's trying to stretch that out. Will he have it stretched out, or will the Bidwell Bullet be taking shots? So I'll tell you, it looks like that Walker has still got at least that cushion there. Maybe a little bit more as we pick these riders up here at the 5-mile marker. Now look at that view as well, high atop Marvin's Mountaintop. Again, another picturesque and beautiful place to race GNCC. And there he is, he and old Rocky, Bryson Neal, chasing down Apollo and Walker right now. Still looking at about that 22nd. We might be a little bit wider than 22nd range right now, but look how much room and distance he is starting to put him between himself and third place position. He had 20 seconds at the end of the lap as well, but now we're McClure's gotten around Sturdivant. So now we see the snake is sneaking his way on up and slithering his way up, winding through these turns, these open field sections now, and he has closed up that gap. I'm going to assume we're closer to a 15-second mark now on him. We'll get official times coming up here shortly, obviously. It's the checkpoint just a little past that 5-mile marker. We were a little bit of an idea. We were going to go with the 08 whenever. We are a little closer. That's about 15 seconds that we just, maybe that tightened up a lot more than what I realized. And no wonder Walker Fowler was looking over his shoulder. And I imagine that Bryson Neal, and even Walker said it, there's a riding style that is second to none, and it's a whole new riding style that these young kids are bringing up. Bryson Neal leading the wave on that right now. And, you know, he says it's a little bit different than what he's got and a whole lot different than what Johnny Gallagher and Chris BORICH and Adam McGill and those guys ride at. But I think that, and he's mentioned it so many times, Bryson Neal. You don't even have to key Walker Fowler in on that name. And Walker Fowler constantly brings up the name of Bryson Neal. Though maybe the results haven't necessarily shown it this year, I think Walker sees what a lot of other folks sees, is that Bryson could be the biggest threat in sincerity that he has right now, not only for race wins, but for possible championship runs in the future as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I go back to Unadilla, and was over there talking to McGill's crew, and I said, man, who is sticking out to you right now? And he said, what's up, Sturry family? He said, oh, out there is riding on rails. He said before this day's over, he's going to be in the top 3. Sure enough, day ends, and he made it into the top 3, and that just seems to be the kind of rider that he is, and Walker certainly recognizes that.
Oh, it's hard not to, and whenever you're on top of your game, in order to stay on your game, you have to know your competition, and it sounds like that Walker has literally been studying the way he rides, the other riders ride, the way he rides, and the way everyone else rides out there. So, though he's a 3-time champion, and he said this is something he noticed over the course of the last week watching videos. So he's doing, I mean, he's won his 3rd championship. He's still doing homework with 3 rounds of racing left to go. He could just sit out the rest of this season and not worry about it. That's not the mindset that rider has and that champion has, that's for sure. Out there, the 6.5-mile marker, this is one of our checkpoints. If you wonder when you say checkpoints, basically it's just that. It's got a little scoring loop out there. They get a chance to go through that section, and anytime there's any question about lap times, we can always go back and check that out and find out whether or not everybody made all the checkpoints and whether they should be kosher on their lap times. That's one way to do it. If they don't make it to a checkpoint, then there's usually some question. But most of the time, you don't have to worry about that. Everybody knows where those checkpoints are, and they know they got to take the whole lap, so they do. Unless they get lost. Sometimes you make a wrong turn, man. I mean, it's easy enough to do. West Virginia natives having fun out here in these rocks. Look at that. You know the great thing about having big rocks like that? There are seats everywhere, man. You can just stop and squat anywhere and sit down and watch.
Kenny Hill?
Ken Hill there, man. If you ain't following that guy on Facebook, you should be, because he's a real hoot.
Oh, yes. Always entertaining.
Yeah, I love this guy, man. He always poses the questions that get you thinking as well. See some of the teams out here in these rock sections got their pit boards. Want to signal their team riders. I am assuming that is Bryson Neal's team right there, since he's got the Coastal Racing shirt on, but it could be one of his fellow team riders. I believe Eli Kiger's out there riding with us right now. He's one of our up-and-comers in the B classes, maybe an A class this year. But regardless, he's not made it to an XC class, one of the two or one class, so still has teammates. But there's a look at those rocks. You see by comparing Ken Hill's foot there, what size those rocks are and how much they are protruding out of the ground out there, and what kind of a challenge that can create. 42 minutes into this one here, my friends, as we take a look at it, it is Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Brent Sturdybot, Jared McClure, Wesley Wolfe at last check. Actually, McClure had gotten around 30, man. Taking a look at ATV records, you see there on your RacerTV screen, all-time GNCC wins. Chris BORICH has 73 all-time wins, 67 for, these are ATV win records, I'm sorry, ATV wins record, 73. Bill Balance with 67, Barry Hawk with 49, but Barry does have 69 overall wins when he takes into considerations his motorcycle wins as well. Walker Fowler now sitting with 35 wins. He's 14 wins out, a little more than a season away. In theory, at the end of next season, Walker could tie, if not pass Barry Hawk in the ATV all-time wins, but that's going to take wins all out this season and basically all wins next season to make that happen. So pretty neat stuff there. And then, of course, the great Bob Sloan, 24 wins. That's still, when you look at the comparison of wins, man, that's a big jump from 24 up to 35, 49, 67. So you know that Bob Sloan was a true man of GNCC racing. Hence, that's why they named the Ironman after him, because he was a true GNCCer through and through, and one of the toughest for sure. So we take a look at this beautiful facility. Fowler, McGill, and Neal are your overall top 10 as far as points are concerned, I believe, as we take a look at that right now. And of course, Chris BORICH in fourth. Jared McClure is your 5th place in points. That's the way we're looking at that. Look at that points gap right now. We're looking at, 15 points that separate Walker. No, 115 points that separate Walker and Adam. That's why he wrapped up that championship early. But looking back, only, 11 points that separate McGill and Neal. And with the bad day that McGill is having, the bad day that he had in New York, that's given Bryson Neal a chance to chip away at some of those points. We could see that young rider jump from number 5 to number 2 if the rest of this season works and bodes in his favor this year. Only 4 points behind him, the 6-time GNCC champ, Chris BORICH, with 164, and Jared McClure's only 2 points behind him. Take a look at that right now. From 5th to 2nd place right now, there is a really heated battle going on for the, and that right there, I guess that's exactly why Chris BORICH worked so feverishly to get back. He says, hey man, I might not be able to get the championship, but I can regain that number 2 plate. And once he gets that number 2 plate, maybe the mojo will start happening for that rider. He ran number 2 behind Bill Balance for so long. If he can get that number 2 plate back, maybe he's thinking that's where the mojo's at.
That's very possible, and with the rough start to this one that McGill had, big window of opportunity there for Chris BORICH.
Right now, watching riders make their way through the FMF PowerPoint. That is Walker Fowler, and Walker Fowler again had about a 15-second lead, the best that we could tell last time that we saw these riders. And look at this, I can already tell you that's already opened up a bigger gap than the 15 seconds we saw there at the 6.5 mile marker, that checkpoint a few moments ago. And here comes Neal now, as that gap has opened up a little bit more, but not a whole lot. And Bryson's one of those riders, again, that we can see him make up time. We've seen it happen before. Walker knows he's a rider that can do it, so he is, I think right now, probably Walker's about as nervous as he could be with anyone behind him, because he does not know what kind of hunger lies within the chest of that number 5 machine. He knows he's starting to get hungrier and hungrier. Look at that, speaking of hungry, man, Jared McClure eating it up out there, man. Like a snake through those rocks. Aptly named, there's no doubt. He's closing up that gap on that 2nd place position. FMF PowerPoint right now. There's Jeff Hart, Hunter Hart's dad. He is out full force for Hunter, that number 17 machine. That's a father-son duo team. I can remember Hunter Hart as a youth rider. One of the last years he raced in the youth class, we were at the Mammoth. Hunter had a broken leg, and he was racing final rounds with the cast on. He couldn't walk the tracks. His dad put him on his back and packed him around the entire youth track, which is about 6 miles, if I remember right. 5 miles, 6 miles, mountainous terrain, Mammoth, however long or short it was. It wasn't an easy task. Dad took him in the entire way. All right, we got a vehicle needs to be moved. Go ahead, Chelsea. White Toyota Tundra. Auto Parts Inc. on the side, right near the entrance, by the blue house, by the entrance of the facility, needs to be moved immediately. So white Toyota Tundra needs to be, it is, if anybody knows the whereabouts of that, it's got a Auto Parts Inc. on the side of it. If it happens to be yours or who you know, tell me to get it moved as soon as possible. So here we are in the mountains of West Virginia, the unofficial homecoming. Mikey, I tell you, it certainly is a great stage for GNCC. We couldn't ask for better weather, as Mother Nature has embraced us. Open arms here with temperatures right around the 80-degree mark. Got some light breeze blowing, which here And we got a great race underway as well as we check in. There's Johnny Gallagher making his way through. Johnny was running top 10 there in that XC1 class. Let's see, he had dropped off to, well, he had been bumped back to 12th overall after time adjustment. There's Hunter Hart making his way in, I believe. That's the leader of the XC2, or at least he was the leader. And let's see if that's the case, then Devin Behan should be coming to about right now. And what a barn burner we got being set ablaze for that one right now, folks. I tell you, it is Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal battle it out front in the XC1. Hunter Hart and his nemesis out there, of course, of Devin Behan battling in the XC2. We are live here at the Rocky Mountain ATV Mountaineer Run GNCC.
Are you looking for a dirt bike piston that can increase power and decrease blow-by? Then check out Wiseco's all-new Racer Elite piston line. Racer Elite has been used exclusively by the pros, including RCH, Yoshimura, Suzuki Factory Racing, and are now accessible to the public. Available for popular 250 and 450cc dirt bikes, the Racer Elite series is the first off-the-shelf asymmetrical power sports piston ever made. It's fully machined billet look. Step up with dyno-proven power gains with Wiseco's Racer Elite piston line.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Yeah, WildTech, that full-size motorcycle. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't. Motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour. Oh, definitely rewarding. My name's Mike. My school's WildTech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at WildTech.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. And a short commercial break there, it looks like. So anyway, back here, and as you can see, we are live in Masontown, West Virginia, in the of the home offices of Racer Productions, the producers of the Grand National Cross Country Championship. It is round 11 of 13, the unofficial homecoming, as we like to call it here. And basically right here in the heart of where it all began. There are so many, well, just a few hours from where we are right now. We got Snowshoe Mountain. We got Davis, West Virginia, where I should say the Blackwater was ran, of course. That kicked it all off. And so many places around here from where we are. Within an hour's drive from where we are, there's at least 6, maybe 8 different facilities that used to host GNCC events, many of which GNCC has outgrown since, but just amazing to see the roots of GNCC and being able to be here, racing here at Marvin's Mountaintop. As you can see, a very picturesque view, one of, I like to say, one of the most, the best. And as much as I don't want to take anything away from Snowshoe, as far as views go, I think this one's even a little bit more magnificent than Snowshoe. Don't want to take anything away from that because that's pretty solid as well. But when you get out there and you look out across those mountain ranges like that, wow, it just makes you feel alive, there's no doubt. And that's what GNCC Racing is all about, my friends, as we are back here at Marvin's Mountaintop. Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, and Jaron McClure, your top 3, as we are 51 minutes into this race now. Checking at the finish line. We are getting close to late. Our leaders should be checking in about any time at the finish line region, according to timing and scoring. We're about 41 seconds late, and that could be because my computer is a little different than the timing and scoring computer, or the second lap could be just a little bit longer than the first lap. But regardless of what the case is, we are close to time to see our leaders check in. Fowler and Neal, will that gap have closed up anymore? Will McClure have closed up on Bryce and Neal? And what does that story say for the rest of the field? Where's Wesley Wolfe? How's Cody Collier doing? Has Chris BORICH been able to work his way through the pack? I think we're going to get a chance to see that firsthand, like I said, over the course of the next couple minutes, as track seeming to be a little bit clear. And there is Walker Fowler. Still, I don't think he has encountered any lap traffic thus far, unless he'd be out in some of those deep, far-reaching regions of riders broke down. But Walker Fowler making his way through the final finish line chicanes, that white background with the red number 1 right there. That's his 3rd one that he gets a chance to tote around here at GNCC. Panning back now to see where our 2nd place ride is. And look at that, man. I'm still pretty impressed with what Rocky and our good buddy Bryson Neal, who's on his back right now, has been able to achieve out there. As they got it going on. And I got to say, this is about the most honest I've seen anybody keep Walker Fowler in quite some time. I don't know what the next 2 laps are going to yield.
Wow.
2-lap board is coming out. We'll be taking a look at that Mid-State Chevy Midway report here soon as well. And let's see, still haven't checked in with our lead yet, but here comes Walker Fowler. Final turns now. And Fowler in with lap 2 complete, a 27:52, so it was about 3 minutes longer, 2.5 minutes longer than the first lap. And 2-lap board is out, my friends. Bryson Neal will get the official word on that one right there as he's coming in. I'm going to have to think that we're probably someplace closer to the 30-minute mark, or 30-second mark, I'm sorry. Maybe even a little more than that when Bryson does check in, but again, a commendable ride and not over yet. He still has, let's see what the official timing and scoring tells us as far as the gap between first and second, Walker Fowler and Bryson Neal. And 28 seconds, so we are right there in that 30-second range. Only 7.5 seconds back now is McClure. I'm at 27:47. McClure faster lap than Walker Fowler. Bryson Neal turned a 28-minute flat lap. McClure a little bit faster out there. He's closing up on both your front runners, it looks like. How much room do we have to check back into the number 4, 5, and 6 spots? What happened to Sturdy Van, Wesley Wolfe, Cody Collier, and the boys? And I imagine that we'll probably be going to pit stops here in just a few minutes when these riders come into the pro pits here after this second lap of racing. There's Cody Collier, 2:01 machine. He's making his way toward the finish line. Did he get around Sturdy Van Wolfe and the boys? Let's see as we are into the final few turns here. For this, we'll be going in shortly, as we said, to the Mid-State Chevy Midway report. Do want to give some folks a moment to get some 2 laps, or second laps completed. And now that's Chris BORICH motoring his way through there. He was 4th place, or he is 4th place. He's 52 seconds now behind Jared McClure, a 28:23 lap time. I don't know what's holding the champ, the former champ up. Wesley Wolfe checks in on the number 5 spot. Josh Merritt is in 6th, man. You got to hand it to old Josh Merritt. That young man has really been stepping it up. Merritt's featured on the event t-shirt here this weekend, so you're going to want to go grab one of those up for sure. Cody Collier, let's see if he got around Brent Sturdyvant or not. I don't see where Brent has checked in yet. So Collier is around for the 7th place position as he checks in with us. Now John Glotta Jr. from the College A class posted a lap time of 19:3:13, or excuse me, a 26:23 lap time on the first lap. That yielded him a 9th place overall after time adjustments. We're going to have to wait and see what that's going to give him after that. But checking into the pits, there's Walker Fowler. He's in and out. There comes Johnny Gallagher. Now, did Gallagher just pass everybody through the pro pits? He was in 9th place, and I just seen him come up on Walker Fowler. Did Walker have an extended stay in the pits right there? How did Johnny Gallagher get all the way up there so quickly, or did he have an early pit stop? Let's see. Johnny did check in with lap 2 complete. He is 9th place on the racetrack. Hunter Hart in now. Hunter Hart is 5th place overall, turning a 28:29. He is 5th place overall on time adjustment, leading the XC2 Pro-Am. Now Devin Fian checks in. Wow, this is the biggest gap I've seen so far. 34 seconds. Devin Fian is still in the 8th place position overall in the XC2 Pro-Am class. That's how much ground they both. Folks, again, I saw Johnny Gallagher pulling up behind Walker Fowler as he was going out of the pits. I don't know what was going on there, whether Walker had an extended pit stop or whether my eyes were deceiving me there. Hopefully, our Johnny as Mikey Waynes has made his way over to the pro pit area, and it sounds like he might be about ready to give us a report.
Yeah, I can get you updated on that. Gallagher did pit. He was down at the end. He actually just got off the pits and rounded around Walker Fowler's pit, so he's back out and rolling. I think you did. Wasn't able to get out in front of anybody.
All righty, sounds good. And I know, like I said, he was all the way back to 9th place, so we'll get the story on that, the full scoop on that, I guess, and how he got so, and whether or not, I don't know, that might not have been Walker, but it sure looked like a red number 1 coming out of those pits there for sure. But regardless, we're rolling, and We'll see what the tail of the tape is on this one. We are now almost 1 hour scores to let you know. Basically, first lap of racing for many of these classes. We'll get into the second laps for some of them during our Mid-State Chevy Midway report, but we are certainly well within the midway point of this race right now for our leaders in the XC1 class. Look at that. John Glotta backing it up, a 29.28 after lap number 2. He checks in, 10 overall after time adjustment. He drops off one, but hey, that's pretty impressive stuff there. That College A leader, John Glotta, 10th place overall right now. He is only 6 seconds out of 9th place behind Cody Collier on time adjustments. And speaking of college and school and things like that, we actually had an opportunity to head over to Greene County, Pennsylvania, to a little place called Bobtown, in Bobtown Elementary, where our hometown heroes and GNCC's media crew were able to go and say hey and teach the kids about some Well, each and every week our media crew tries to go out. Gavin Gartlett's out there with us. Olivia Judy, one of our local. Jesse Strahan, Chase Vitro, and Emily Streets, all our hometown heroes this week, making a visit to Bobtown Elementary, where you can see they were teaching the kids cardio. They were teaching them mainly positive influence and being a positive influence and positive thoughts and moving forward and overcoming obstacles and things like that. And I tell you, it's a great little program that they put together. If you have one that you would like to have us come visit when we're in your neck of the woods, like a couple weeks, we'll be over in St. Clairsville, Ohio, around that area. We'd love to come to your hometown school and teach the folks a little bit about sportsmanship, camaraderie, and all the great things it takes to be a great GNCC racer. Well, 2 laps. This one, 1 hour and 33 seconds is what we're looking at. And again, some of the highlights of this race: Walker Fowler leading, Bryson Neal in second, Jared McClure making his way around. Wesley Wolfe had gotten the whole shot and picked himself up $250 in the whole shot award earlier this today. He is currently running 5th physically on the racetrack. He is 6th overall after time adjustments, as we are watching things start to fall into place and this race start to pan out and start to take up a little bit of shape and start to see how things are going to look here possibly shortly. But it's Fowler, Neal, McClure, BORICH, Hunter Hart in 5th, Wesley Wolfe in 6th, Merritt in 7th. There is 2nd place in the XC2, Devin Beyond 8th, Cody Collier 9th, College A-class leader. That's impressive. John Glotta is rounding out your top 10. And he is by far the only non-XC1 or XC2 rider in a top 20 overall position right now. That is some impressive riding. There is no doubt about that. Speaking of top 20, let's check with the rest of our top 20 right now as we go into the Mid-State Chevy Midway Report. It's all brought to you by Mid-State Chevrolet, where they stack them deep and sell them cheap, the official truck provider, GNCC Racing Nation. Again, we've got Fowler, Neal, McClure, BORICH, Hart, Wolfe, Merritt, Behan, Collier, and Glotta, your top 10, as we pointed out there just a moment ago. But in 11th place, Greg Covert, Ithaca, New York. 3rd place, he is your defending champion in the XC2 Pro-Am. He's 11th in the overall, 3rd in class. Johnny Gallagher checking in now would be considered 12th place overall after time adjustments out there. We've got Marty Christopherson. He is right now one of our rookies out of Richmond, New York, on the Dillinger's Pub back machine. Then, of course, Matt Lindell from the XC2 Pro-Am class, 4th place, running in 14th overall. Brandon Eichert, 5th in that class, is 15th overall of Hickory, North Carolina. Kenny Schick, who I believe may have grabbed the early lead out there today, or maybe was up front in the early part of that, I'm sorry, in that XC2 class. Schick is 16th overall. Sam Huff, 941, is 17th overall. He's out of Holden, Missouri, also XC2 rider. Randy Hamilton, the 18th place position, XC1 rider from Denville, New Jersey. 19th place, Wes Kinsley from Morgantown, West Virginia. Levi, the 33 machine, out of Millfield, Ohio. XC2 ride rounds out the top 20 overall. Now, class by class, we break them down for you. In the XC2 Pro-Am class, Hart, Feehan, Covert, Matt Lindell, Brandon Eichert, your top 5. Kenny Schick is 6th. Sam Huff in 7th. Wes Kinsley is 8th. Levi Cohen 9th. Steve Covert in 10th. a look at your College A class. We do now have 3 of our College A class riders. Whoa, John Glotta has a 5-minute and 10-second, almost 5-minute and 11-second lead over second place, the 926 of Tanner Walker from Berlin, Pennsylvania, home of Snyder's Potato Chips. Man, gotta love those. Some folks brought me some Snyder's Potato Chips out of Berlin not too long ago. Those are good. 217, Drew Landers out of Monterey, Tennessee, in that 3rd place position. The number 50, Caleb Hagan. He's out of Tompkinsville, Kentucky. Home of the famous William Yoakley there. Bodie Lamoureux, 969 in 5th place out of Windsor, New York. In 6th place, Joey Lambright, the 72 from East Palestine, Ohio. 7th place, Nick Royalty from Scottsburg, Indiana. 8th spot, Marcus Jennings from Algonia, Iowa on the 517. 9th place in 172, Cage Chrisman out of Forest City, Pennsylvania. 10th place, Virginia. That's your College A class riders. Here in the Mid-State Chevy Midway Report, leading the Junior A class, Nick Mastrangelo out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, number 2. With only a 3-second lead over Brody Livingood, the 405 from Bowling Waters, West Virginia. Cleveland, Georgia, home to Jade Millwood, the 321, who was only 12.5 seconds back. So 15 seconds separating the Junior A top 3. Chris Ballou, the 550 out of Leoma, Tennessee. He's 4th. In 5th, the 417, Robert Mapp from Westminster, Maryland. 6th is the 727, Zach Dean out of Addison, New York. 7th, 189, James Mauger from Williamstown, New Jersey. 8th, Matt Glova out of Burton, Ohio in the 301. 9th place, 745, Jay Turner from Albright, West Virginia. Rounding out your top 10, the 193, Andrew Connors from Wyoming, Pennsylvania. That's your Junior A 22-plus class here in the Mid-State Chevy Midway Report. Next is the Vet 8, 28-plus class. Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens is in now with the lead after 2. He was behind A.J. Koontz, Tom Koontz at the end of that first lap, but now Pickens has moved into 1st, waiting on 2nd to check in after 2 laps. So a little bit of a change up there. We expect it to be A.J. Koontz, but he should be checking in about right now. Nope. Wow, these conditions are certainly making life interesting in the Vet A class. Tommy Thompson was 3rd, Dustin Hendershot was 4th, Eric Vallejo was 5th. And now Dustin Hendershot is checked in 2nd. So we'll bump into this one again in just a few moments, the Vet A class. Let's go to the class there with Chris Berry, 737 out of Munford, Kentucky. Munfordville. Actually, 2nd place then, only 4 seconds back in the Senior AB class is the 828 of Brian Shaw from Harrisville, Pennsylvania. I think Brian might have got the jump off the line there. 413, Michael Hayes out of Rocky Face, Georgia in 3rd. Bobby Oosley, the 357, rounds out 4th place in the Senior AB class. Michael Anderson leading the College B class right now out of Cloverdale, Indiana, due in about any time. Michael Anderson, the 187, 805, Corey Vanderliner out of Millerton, Pennsylvania, 540, Chandler Berner out of Bellington, West Virginia in 3rd. Cameron Avey, the 888, he's 4th out of Union, South Carolina. Miss Emily Wise in the College B class, 419 is 5th out of Waynesburg, PA. Chase Petro, Ethan Petro's brother, the 406 out of Rachel, West Virginia, runs in 6th. Cade Vanderpool out of Indianola, Iowa, the 356 in 7th. 8th place, 245, Ty Barker from Cooperstown, Pennsylvania. Trevor Taylor, the 113, is 9th from North Chesterfield, Virginia. 10th place, Mikey Nichols out of Nichols, New York on the 913 machine there in the College B class. Up next is your Junior B, where William Wallace from Street, Maryland, leading that one on the 235. The 500, Reese Parvin out of Akron, Ohio, is a 2nd place ride, only 1.7 seconds. I want to point out something about this class. If you remember, I talked about this class at John Penton. At that point, that was heading in the round number 9. There had only been, well, there had been 8 different winners throughout the course of the first 8 rounds of racing. Well, since that time, Reese Parvin got himself a 2nd win. He won the John Penton GNCC. After the summer break, he actually took a win at Unadilla, so he is a 3-time winner, 3 times winning so far straight this season, and he's the only multiple winner in the Junior B class this year. So pretty interesting stuff to watch. His opportunity to remain that may be at stake, though, with William Wallace in the lead. Parvin in second. Evan Tempko, the 3:10 out of St. Clairsville, Ohio, home of the Powerline Park GNCC in a couple of weeks. He runs third. Diddy Rowe out of Connellsville, Pennsylvania, the 2:28 in fourth. In fifth spot, the 4:11 Curtis Tarman out of St. Thomas, Pennsylvania. Sixth place, 6:08 Cameron Klein from Mammoth, West Virginia. Seventh place, 2:09 Charlie Rogers from Washington, PA. In the eighth place position, the 66 of David Kite from Northeast Maryland. Rounds out your field of 8 in the Junior B22 Plus class. Next up, the Vet V30 Plus class, 386 Justin Kerr from Waynesburg, PA, a 9-second lead over John South of the 410 out of Warwick, Rhode Island. They're due in about 3 minutes. Ryan Vasco, the 456 out of 84 PA, is in third. Fourth place, Jeremy Gouchard on the 80 from Mansfield, Ohio. New York, Dave Napo. New York Napo, the 698 and fifth out of Eden, New York. Aaron Hendershot, the 120 and sixth out of Mansfield, Ohio. 137 Adam Sadlon from Oxford, New Jersey, eighth place. Lyle Morrison, the 74 from North Attleboro, Massachusetts. Lyle Morrison sounds like a folk singer's name for some reason, or a rock singer's name. 968 Nathan Pearson, ninth out of Sprague, Pennsylvania. That is, I believe, it. We'll go back and look at that Vet A class we promised to just a moment ago. And it's Pickens, Hendershot. A.J. Kuntz does check in on number 3 spot, only 17 seconds behind Hendershot. But, wow, Pickens has a 1:10 lead now. Back in the number 4 spot, the 801 Corbin Knox out of Mercer, PA. Tommy Thompson, the 402 out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, is in 5th. Eric Vallejo in 6th out of Perkymonville, Pennsylvania. Corey Blankowitz, the 7th place position, the 39. Melwood City, Pennsylvania. The Marlboro man, Tom Muscala, 86 and 8th out of Uniontown, PA. West Mansfield, Ohio's Walter Schumacher, 728 and 9/10 place. The 870 Adam Reed from Bealsville, Ohio. That's your Vet A class after 2 now. And that is your Mid-State Chevy Midway Report. I want to say thanks to Mid-State Chevrolet, the official truck provider of the GNCC Racing Nation and the home of your next new car, truck, or van. Mid-State Chevrolet. They stack them deep to sell them cheap. And a look back on what's going on here in the mainstay of GNCC Racing, as many of you have been watching the video section of video portion of RacerTV, as well as listening along here today and trying to keep up with what's going on. Fowler, Neal, McClure, BORICH, Hartnell in 5th place. But all eyes on John Glotta in 10th place. Can he do even better than that? Time is going to tell. We have the 2-lap board coming out, so next time around these riders will receive a white flag. We are less than 10 minutes away, just about 9.5 minutes or so, maybe close to 10 minutes. What a day. Want to let folks know that are tuned in, if you're an ATV fan of ATV motocross racing, I want to say congratulations to Grayson Eller and Noah Mickelson on their extreme performance, as well as Hayden Mickelson, a 4x4A rider this morning. But Noah and Grayson Eller were doing great things this morning, and I want to congratulate those 2 riders, and also let you know that their teammate, their mentor on their team, Joel Hetrick, along with the 5-time ATV motocross champ Chad Wienen and also Thomas Brown, are in Italy today in what we call the Quad Cross of Nations, which is like the Motocross of Nations of things. They're over there. They have all 3 won their qualifying sessions, and the stage is set now for mains to get underway. If you are friends with me on Facebook, or my page is public, you can find me there. You can find links to that to keep up with live timing and scoring. Follow Thomas Brown, Joel Hetrick, and Chad Wienen as they are posting live video from right there in Italy and the Quad Cross of Nations. So right now, an hour and looks like 12, almost 13 minutes into this event. Our leaders coming through the PowerPoint. Folks, don't forget to be using social media. Twitter is at GNCC_racing. And there he is, Walker Fowler on Apollo, down to the Ford Apollo. We named it for him. That number 1, his steed, is off and rolling here through the FMF PowerPoint. And I got to tell you, that didn't look like it required a whole lot of effort there by that defending champion, Mikey Waynes.
Yeah, he is, well, I won't say making quick work of it, but he's certainly doing work to it. How's that? That seems about right. Hey, Alicia McCormick just walked by. Big shout out to Lane McCormick this morning.
Yes.
He captured the 2017 Youth ATV Championship.
Yes, he did, and that's pretty impressive stuff to be able to wrap that up a little early. He was number 5 last year, and all he needed was like 6 or better to do it today, and he went out and won.
Yeah, he was pretty stoked.
I don't doubt that a bit. Folks, if you're not following along on social media, just saw our leaders go by there with Fowler, Neal, McClure. Be looking for BORICH here in the next minute or so, but it is Twitter at GNCC_race, or that's Instagram, at GNCC_racing. Twitter is just simply at GNCC Racing, and we do have a Snapchat page as well at GNCC Live 7. Use the official hashtags, hashtag GNCC and hashtag GNCC Live. I want to remind folks that after today's event, Team Faith Chapel services will be taking place, as well as the 2nd annual Mowgli Memorial Dog Show. We'll have lights at the start line creating the ultimate dog show arena. There's a total of 7 categories. Pro class, registered pedigrees, 4-stroke, 70 pounds, 2-stroke. That's 70 pounds less, actually. Lights are terriers, miniatures, foo-foo dog. What is a foo-foo dog?
That's what my wife and I, that's a Shih Tzu. Your Pomeranians, your...
They're all Shih Tzus, aren't they?
Well, that's all we've got now, yeah.
Yeah. Utilities, Shepherd's Labs, Retrievers, Service Dogs, Senior Dogs, Dogs 10 years and older, Pee-wee Dogs, Puppies less than 1 year, man. They are all going all out for the 2nd annual Mowgli Memorial Dog Show here tonight. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up tonight after chapel services, I believe. Chapel services underway at 7. At 6 o'clock, we have youth activities there at the Team Feed Transporter. Leaders due in about 5 minutes, a little more than 5 minutes. We'll be finished up with lap 3. That'll bring out a white flag this time around, if I'm not mistaken, Mikey Waynes. And you know, honestly, starting out this morning, we had big foggy conditions. You know, the youth riders was questionable. Can they even see Ricky Towery up there in that first turn?
Oh man,
it was crazy, but it lifted just enough. And like Jared Bolton was saying, meeting. Pretty bad out here, but once you get rolling and once you get in the woods, it's actually, you can see in the woods a lot better than you can out in the open. And so went off without a hitch. Of course, we did have a little bit of a delay this morning, but that was due in part to fog because the ambulance was having trouble getting here in time. So we did, so that's what kind of put us in a little bit of a tailspin as far as time. But I think we only started this afternoon's race only a few minutes late, so I think we did pretty good today, and want to commend the track crew on a great job on not only making and building a great track, but also being able to get it swept quickly and get the other races up and rolling. We had youth racing at 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, we had the Ace racing. At 10 o'clock, we had the 10 o'clock race. At 1 o'clock, we started a few minutes after, and then around 4 o'clock, between 4 and 4:30, we'll be getting underway with things at the side-by-side race and at the starting line again. So we'll be back on RacerTV.com as well with the celebrations for that and what these final few rounds, who's going to be able to come away with the championship. Got some good battles going on in that side-by-side racing, so be sure and stick around with that. Right now, we are watching, we are waiting, we are, wow, our computer's even gotten lazy again today. I don't think it updated this morning again. I saw another one of those warnings pop up. 5:21 was the last check we had. I'm assuming I was going to say around 3 minutes. 3:12 is what official timing and scoring is trying to let us in on. Bryce and Neal some 30 seconds back in the number 2 spot. And that rider right there, making things happen. The FMF power. Now, I can't tell really if this looks like a hill climb and a rock section at the same time, but it's not one of those sickening steep hill climbs. And I don't think we'd be able to afford a steep hill climb like that. I mean, the boys had enough problems at Unadilla and those rocks.
Yeah, we were seeing it claim some riders at Unadilla for sure. So You added that to this, my goodness, it would just be chaos. And I wonder how this is going to fare for our bikes tomorrow. I mean,
a lot of rocks are getting uncovered, that's for sure. But, you know, the beauty of it is those bike riders, you know, oftentimes they'll use those bike rides. But whenever you get into situations, scenarios like this, unless it happens to be the smoother line, they aren't going to chance riding the quad trails. They'll actually ride off on the duffs, on the edges where maybe some of the quad riders didn't ride through these rock gardens. They're going to get through it like the quad riders are routing at it. Not any way they can, basically.
Yeah.
There's no, what you say, set line burn through these sections. I don't think, none that I've been able to tell so far. So, yeah, I think the bike riders they're actually, it's actually pretty neat, man. I don't know, this is your first year, right?
First year with GNCC,
okay.
yeah.
Man, see that? Here we are at the end of the first year, and I'm like,
it's all right.
Still your first season, Mike?
You know what?
Well, when we get to St. Clairsville, we got a rock garden that is out. It's a man-made rock garden where everybody can see it. It's a spectator section, and you'll see how those bikes traverse, how easily those bikes traverse those rock sections, and you'll get a look at it tomorrow as well here when we go live with our Pro Class Racing and RacerTV tomorrow. So I think you're going to be kind of shocked at honestly how easily they can maneuver their way through those. But it's basically maintaining balance, man. Get that bike up, keep it loose between those legs, and you know what it's like, man. As long as you keep your upper body in one position, you can let that bike go about anywhere it wants to go under most circumstances and still keep it upright. And that's what these guys have been mastering, and that's what a lot of guys have been doing over the course of the last week or so. I know a lot of guys down in Williamstown, West Virginia, working with Thaddy, which, by the way, Thad Duvall got 3rd place at National Enduro last week, but he will not, I don't think so, be racing tomorrow. He's got a cast back on that arm.
I wondered that.
Yeah, I understand he's got a cast back on it. They're saying right now he won't race tomorrow, but it'd be interesting to see whether or not he ends up, just like I said last time.
Yeah.
But, man, rocks are something that you can't sneeze at. And the funny thing about it is these rocks are different than other rocks that they've been faced with so far. And not saying these are the more challenging rocks, but they are the bigger rocks. They have some of the sharper edges on them, and they seem to take their toll a little more, kind of like the snowshoe rocks, but even these seem to do, because there's even more rocks here than there are at snowshoe. They put them in and take them out and give you other options at snowshoe. Here, you ain't got much choice but to ride the rocks. Jared McClure checking in with us now as well as we watch our riders go by. That is our 3rd place position as we watch. He is still trying to track down Bryce Neal. We saw there, I believe, on the screen just ahead of him by about 10 seconds or so, unless something changed. And I'm not aware, I haven't heard anything one way or the other. Checking in with more riders. There is Neal. Is that our... Has he dropped to 3rd? Let's see here.
I don't believe so. Well, we
Walker
saw a moment
Fowler,
ago.
Walker Fowler is in. Bryson Neal is in. And Jared McClure right now in that 3rd place position. And he just checked in now, still about 7 seconds off pace. He and Bryson Neal, nearly identical lap times. 27:41.7 for Neal, 27:41.2 for Jared McClure. And only 10 seconds off pace of Walker Fowler, who had a 27:31, but it's Fowler, Neal, and McClure 1, 2, and 3 right now. And of course, coming into these rocks and things like this, Jared McClure, a heavy favorite always in these final rounds of GNCC racing. And when you see the results and watch the way he's riding today, you see exactly why. And we actually had a chance to catch up and talk with him about that and a few other things leading into this Mountaineer Run GNCC.
Like you said, I tend to do a little better in the second half of the year. Unadilla is one of the best tracks on the series for me. Went up there and got 2nd after the summer break there, so it was good to come out back on the box, start strong. I started at the beginning of the year strong and then had a few issues, but you know, we got everything dialed in, and I think these last couple rounds will be good, just like years past. It's probably one of the rockiest ones we race at for sure, and it's like high speed rocky, so there's some spots where you got to watch. You just don't tear your equipment up. You know, it's real easy to, you know, cut a tire. I mean, thank God we have the tire balls to keep us going. But, you know, you could also break a chain or have something bad like that happen here. So you kind of got to be a little cautious out there, but still run a good pace and, you know, just stay with that lead group.
To be a Jared McClure fan, even if you're not a Jared McClure fan, man, because this guy there's just something about him. You got to like him. You can't not like him. I mean, he is one of the most wholesome, down-to-earth people I think you're ever going to meet. We've seen glimpses of greatness and great things out of him. He's not a big flashy type rider by no stretch of the imagination, but flash somehow or another seems to follow him. I mean, the flash of a second-place position. I mean, he's that sneaky snake rider that always seems to be able to find his way into positions out there. Speaking of positions, he's in the third right now as Chris BORICH has checked in the fourth-place position, 1 minute and 43 seconds back. I believe Chris has actually dropped off a little bit more there. A minute or 28:32 lap time. He actually turned about a 40 slower lap. There's your XC2 leader, Hunter Hart, I believe, checking in there on board the number 17 machine. Wesley Wolfe is in, by the way, 5th overall physically on the track, but right here will be to tell the story as to whether or not Hunter Hart is able to break into a top 5 position here in the overall. We see Josh Merritt is in, Cody Collier is in, and we'll see Hunter Hart in here in just a moment checking in, and that, again, I'm expecting that he's going to be up there.
I got to say, Hunter Hart is just, his speed is insane. I was down there looking for some interviews as all the XC1 guys were making their pits just a moment ago, and when Hunter Hart came through, the guy is just, I think we're going to hear the name Hunter Hart in a lot of conversations in the coming years.
Well, that's funny because we've heard the name Hunter Hart for a lot in a lot of conversations already for a lot of years, man. I mean, this kid is phenomenal, man. I mean, you know, you talk about the prodigies and thing, and I think that you look at Walker Fowler, we consider him probably the first ATV prodigy child because he's the first one to literally come right straight out of those youth ranks like that, right up through the, at least modern day anyway, up through the ranks into the pro class. But, man, you got guys that, I don't know, man. I think, honestly, you got fast guys out there. Bryce Neal can't take anything with him, but yet I don't want to say that he was that prodigy child. I don't think that he even won a youth race whenever he was racing in the youth classes. I got an old quad radio interview that I did with him that would be neat to go back and listen to right now, especially at this juncture in his career. But honestly, in my mind's eye, I mean, in my mindset, I think that possibly that Hunter Hart is what I would consider that next prodigy racer that is coming up right now. And he is certainly positioning himself as one of the best in his class and one of the best to come out of those youth ranks, and has broken many of the records that Walker Fowler has set, believe it or not. That's his idea. Now he's looking at what Walker did. He was talking about it this morning on the starting line. He said Walker went and did a 13 for 13 in the XC2 Pro-Am class. He said that's going to be tough to beat, like impossible to beat. He's hope to be able to tie that. But right now Walker's looking at 10 race wins here today, and maybe even 11 or 12 before the seat to break in. His wins records are going to be tough to break, but Walker's inching his way up to it as well. Now we are checking out all the great racing action taking place here. Not much change as Walker Fowler continues to lead Bryce Neal. Garrett McClure is third. Fourth is Chris BORICH, and your 5th place position, WW himself, Wesley Wolfe.
Hey, this is Walker Fowler, and you're watching RacerTV Live.
First, truly customizable, concealed, flat panel are elegantly hidden behind a high-grade, textured canvas wrap, bringing together the best of sound and art. This innovative design allows for a truly invisible, high-fidelity sound experience without bulky speakers. Sound art by Ansia. Your art never sounded so good.
Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With a solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. The all-new from the ground up 2018 Yamaha YZ450F is arriving soon at LoJack Cycle Sales. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service and 15 national championships, we know racing. Stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and view our online inventory at lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes and, of course, the whole field of ATV GNCC racers here today. Our XC1 and XC2 riders going at it, doing battle. The big news in from the amateur ranks right now is, yep, you guessed it, that young rider from the College A class all the way up to 9th place early in the race. He was 10th place last lap, and at last check-in, John Glotta, well, he hasn't checked in for lap 3 complete yet, so John Glotta just checked in. He's back to 9th place overall after that, and wow, pretty impressive stuff, believe it or not. Glotta looking at a very solid top 10 overall from that College A class, being top amateur. Impressive. This might be the glimpses of what we are about to see out of this young man in the future as well. Devin Fehan, who is second in the XC2 Pro-Am, is behind him on adjusted time. He rounds out the top 10 overall. Well, Mikey, right now watching, we are on the verge of tying a record right now for Walker Fowler and 10 wins, and Walker will then get off the podium immediately, jump into a fire suit into the YXZ, and be ready for side-by-side action, believe it or not.
And I kind of wonder if, well, I say this and he's out there doing his thing, but I wonder if he's in the back of his mind saying, I need to hang on to a little bit more. I've got this championship wrapped up. I want to have a little more left in the tank when I get out there in the UTV today.
No.
No, yeah, probably not.
I think Walker is testing himself as much as anything. He wants to see what it's like to go out, and he wants to do this. He wants to go out, win in the XC1 ATV class, and then go out and win in the side-by-side. Now, the reality of it, he says, is slim, today especially. But as he gets more time behind that wheel, he is going to be a bigger and bigger threat. Some of the likelihood or the possibilities increase for him today is there's a few of the top drivers like Tim Farr and like Kyle Cheney that are out this week. They're vying for the national championship in the, well, the torque title anyway. It's not a national championship, but it's the torque title. And they're out there in the final stages of that. They had to opt to do that because that's the way the championships roll, and that's the way sponsors, if we want championships, there's a kind of certain way it's going to fold here, but they know they can wrap it up there, so they sent Kyle over there and a few other guys not there as well. So that might increase the possibility for Walker Fowler today. But hey, let's get through this one first. Let's get this one won. Let's not count our chickens before these eggs hatch, man. And that's a direct quote from Walker Fowler.
I did hear him this morning talking about, you know what, I hate losing. I hate losing. He goes, but really, when I sit down and take a look at the guys I'm losing to in the UTV classes, you've got the Miller brothers, you got the Kyle Cheneys. He's like, those, I'm not losing to nobody. You know, those are some big names.
They are, and they are the benchmarks of this sport. So when you look at it in essence like that, Walker's already reached and achieved a pretty good level in that side-by-side stuff. We'll be back live with that coming up in a little bit. We encourage folks to come and join us on that. That'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4:15, 4:30. I'm not real sure with, we got started a little bit late on this. We hope and try to get started as close to 4 o'clock as possible, but if you've been following, we rarely make the 4 o'clock time mark, but about 4:15 to 4:30 generally we can get them all off. There is walking through the pits right now, Mark Notman. A leisurely stroll.
Yeah.
You can't tell that he is a mechanic right now because, well, he doesn't have a lot to worry about. Man, he did all his work this past week and last night and this morning, setting that machine up, getting it ready for these rocks. He and Walker been doing some special testing. Walker said they're going to utilize this part of the season to utilize to try out new components, new settings, new products. So it's kind of neat to see Walker experimenting in these rounds. So with that, Mark, championship's wrapped up. No need to get too concerned about things, I don't believe.
Yeah, and I don't believe Mark is working or sitting in the side-by-side with Walker this afternoon as well. I think he's sitting that one out, and I think Walker had mentioned he's got an old high school buddy that's going to be riding with him in the UTV today. He said he had a car crash like 2 days ago.
Yeah, was in a Jeep,
and he thought,
Jeeping and crashed his Jeep, and he said, this guy's already crash ready. He said it's going to be like an hour-long crash. One guy that probably knows a little bit about that joining us here from this morning's 4x4 Pro class, Kevin Trantham, welcome to the booth, man. And I wondered if you was going to make your way over. You get beat up today or what?
Well, yeah, did get beat up some, and
pull that a little bit closer.
Okay, is that better?
That's a lot
okay.
Better.
Yeah, definitely. The track was pretty gnarly. You know, we've raced here several years, and
FOWLER, I believe.
I think the rocks have multiplied and grew and stuff over the years, you know. And but yeah, we had a good time out there, and of course, getting ready to race the side by side here in just a little bit. So I had a few things I had to finish up on the
and get it ready to go.
Yeah.
So watching this, you're going to be racing against Walker Fowler out here a little bit. What do you think about that? Have you seen him ride yet? You had a chance to race against him?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with him. You know, we're running in the same class together and stuff. And Walker is really coming on in the side by side. I mean, it's like each round he's just getting better and better. I'm sure it's going to be. He's dominating it just like the ATV.
Let me ask you this question. What was today's track like?
Well, honestly, it was, you know, there was some pretty nasty rock sections out there. Quite a few of them, you know, and
this right here, probably the smoothest part of the track.
Oh yeah, that's nothing. I wish more of it was like that, but no, it was pretty rough, and you know, a lot of places were dusty. So if you had a few lappers or people in front of you, you know, it made it difficult to see. There's many times I would drift over to the side of the track, not really realize because you couldn't see, you know, tag a rock or something, you know, didn't rip the handlebars out of your hands. It was definitely a challenge.
Well, how did you finish then?
Well, I got second overall, so I'm pretty happy with that.
That's pretty good. Kevin Cunningham ramped up the championship title today,
yeah,
right?
He did. I try my best to prevent that from happening.
I know Brian Buchanan would have appreciated that.
Yeah, for sure. So hats off to Cunningham, though. I mean, he's a heck of a rider. He's got that machine dialed in.
That's awesome, man. Glad that you had a great day today. You're looking forward, I guess, to 2 weeks from now in St. Clairsville yourself, are you?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's, you know, we've been going there for several years, and good track. It doesn't matter if it's not rained in a while, it's still slick there in St. Clairsville. But we've experienced, you know, all kinds of different weather there. I know one year we were on the podium just a few years ago, and it was sleeting and snowing and raining and stuff. So
that's crazy. And it could be again 2 weeks from now. It's 80 degrees here today, and we're going to see, who knows what 2 weeks bring. 2 weeks ago, we were freezing. I was freezing to death, man. On Saturday, I had like 5 layers of clothes on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think that regardless, big things going on out there on the track, and we got big things to look forward to. We got big things going on right there with Landon Wolfe of LW making his way right there. Landon Wolfe was running some pretty good races and some good finishes, good consistent rides so far this season. And of course, we had a chance to catch up with him earlier as well to talk about this upcoming weekend and what's been going on so far.
When I were a good bit different than they are now. They were more like, you know, we come out, we do decent, we have a bad race, and we have a really good race. And I think that's one thing that I've learned with age is a lot of consistency, just being smarter, not making as many mistakes. And, you know, it can be good and it can be bad. Like I say, it definitely sucks that I haven't gotten on the podium this year or had a spectacular race. But with time, you know, I think these last 2 years I've learned a lot of consistency and just settling into a groove and riding my own race and being smart. And I think the next step after, you know, learning all of that is going to be staying smart, but also making big moves and get myself on the podium and just bettering myself.
It takes a little more time, and Landon might be one of those times it takes a while, but once he gets there, I think he's the type of rider who's going to be tough to knock down because the consistency shows. I mean, fifth, sixth, seventh, you know, right around in that area the whole time. Once he starts going 1 and 2, he's going to stay consistent there too, I believe.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know, I mean, he's young. You know, he's still got many years ahead of him. You know, for his racing goes, and you know, he just continues to improve year after year. So I'm sure it's probably maybe by the end of this year, you know, he'll be on the podium. I'd like to see him. I mean, I think he's real good, deserves it. Definitely deserves it.
Yeah, currently not the best race he's had, so probably, I'm going to say this might be the worst race old LW's had this year. He is currently sitting in 29th overall position. That's not anywhere we're used to seeing that young man. Rocks, and he even mentioned it, man. I mean, he said you can either have a really good day here, or it don't take much to turn things around. I mean, things can be starting out off to the edge of the track, just with rock, your handlebars getting ripped out of your hands. You were fortunate enough to recover, I suppose, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it didn't take me out of the race or anything, but, you know, here's more of what we experienced today. I mean, more of the rock gardens and stuff. And, you know, it doesn't take much of that. You know, things can go wrong real quick, you know.
Yeah. Those boys are actually looking kind of bored right there, weren't they? Waiting on
Need a little action to roll through.
Yeah, and I do have to point out, too, this is one of the, this morning you guys had somewhere in the neighborhood of about 250 or so riders, a little less than that. They were somewhere in the neighborhood of about 120 for this afternoon. So this is one of the lighter turnouts you see. And, you know, honestly, I mean, when you talk to people, you're a racer, I'd really like to go to Masontown because it's old school GNCC, but there's two rounds left after that. I got to save myself my machine.
Well, you know, that definitely can play a factor in a lot of people's decision. They come on the last race to go over the machine. Being the 11th round, we still got 2 more to go. So that doesn't give you a lot of time. I mean, if you really destroy your bike the next round. So, you know, some of the classes, they're able to drop a round. So they may say, hey, I'll just pass this one up and hit the next one.
Yeah, and this right here, this is for an old school, a true down to the hardcore GNCC style track.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, this is normally like I say,
walking about going by
Oh, and there's Bryson Neal. So Neal was stuck. He's back on and rolling.
Walking this path like how did Bryson get this?
All over. Well, not quite all over, but man, closed that gap between him and Fowler. But then,
and here's the interesting thing with that. Listen to this. There were 39 seconds and separated these riders 7 miles ago. 39 seconds, and now Bryson Neal is all over the room. What's going on with Walker Fowler? Did he make a mistake, or is the bullet really firing him off this lap, man? That's the big. Rocky really slugging it out there on Apollo right now, man.
Going the distance.
Yeah, when you get a weakness frame or, you know, steer like backed up a little bit, you know, I mean, there's so many things that can happen just like this.
Hey, there you go. That's a possibility too. So right now we are issues with our timing and scoring computer, but I'm online. I've got cell service.
That's rare.
Yeah, is it though? I switched over to Sprint, and I haven't had cell. This is the first race I think I've had cell service all year long. Saving a lot of money, but I ain't making a lot of calls.
Well, there you go.
My girlfriend, she hates it. Right now, I'm liking my Sprint because I got good service right here. I got, like I said, Fowler and Neal was only 7 seconds behind Bryce Neal. Did we see the number 4 in that little mix-up too?
I did see
Okay, so he was still within that 10 seconds of the time right there. Yeah, and Jared honestly been some faster laps the last couple of times around. So if he can continue to do that, like you said, a three-way shootout, what would that be like? I mean, Walker would, wow, that would really raise his intensity level with Walker, and that might give everybody a better chance of side by side. And how about it? Man, I mean, that championship race, all those guys vying for second overall in points. There's Josh Merritt. No, Josh is actually running 6th place, and I have to think this is his best ride so far here in 2017, at least this late in the race. I've seen him up, front end of the pack earlier in the season, but not this late in the race. So I'm thinking that he might. Out of the number 10 of Josh MERRITT as he is inching his way toward a top 5 overall position right now. Rider that we'll be keeping a close eye on. There's a couple of them actually. Hunter Hartley checking in here through the XC2 Pro-Am class. John Plata also the class leader in that with 9th place overall. This kid, you all know John Plata. We watched him work his way and riding like he's riding today in 9th place in the overall. He's looking like one, that's for sure. He comes out your neck. But you don't blame him, is that what you're trying to say? Not been there long enough. All right, well, we'll see where you ain't no Tar Heel, boy. I love it. I love it. All right, so look at that. There it is. We're looking at these this terrain now. Are these rocks? Do they look like they're growing from this morning's race? Sometimes they say rocks grow. Is this the case here in Marvin's Mountain?
Well, I felt this way today. I mean, it's like every lap I come through, and you know, I was hitting rocks that I didn't see the lap. I don't know.
Well, did you and your suspension guy have a talk afterwards? Did you say thanks for the smooth ride, or hey man, we got to smooth this thing out?
I tell you, it was neat. That's I could just get it, you know, stay steady on the
I think that was part of this one there at the 7-mile marker, so it's still running strong there. But is the ATV a lot like the side-by-side? You see something, you think, oh my God, here comes a bump, we got to slow down. But in reality, it's completely different. You want to speed up, but it actually speeds it out most of the time. In most cases, I mean, they're
right. Yeah, right. In a lot of cases, actually right. It these real nasty rock sections. You can't always do it, but a lot of times it's faster.
Like I said, Fowler and Neal was only 7 seconds behind Bryce Neal. Did we see the number 4 in that mix-up too?
I did see right.
Okay, so he was still within that 10 seconds of the time frame. Yeah, and Jared, honestly, been some faster laps the last couple of times around. So if he can continue to do that, like you said, a 3-way shootout, what would that be like? I mean, Walker would, I mean, wow, that would really raise the intensity level of Walker, and that might give everybody a better chance at side-by-side. That's great. And how about it? Man, I mean, that championship points race, all those guys vying for second place overall in points. There's Josh MERRITT. No, Josh is actually running 6th place, and I have to think this is his best ride so far here in 2017, at least this late in the race. I've seen him up, you know, front end of the pack earlier in the season, but not this late in the race, so I'm thinking that he might. Out of the number 10 of Josh MERRITT as he is inching his way toward a top 5 overall position right now. Rider that we'll be keeping a close eye on. There's a couple of them actually. Hunter Hartley checking in here through the XC2 Pro-Am class. John Plata also the class leader in that with 9th place overall. This kid, you all know John Plata. We watched him work his way and riding like he's riding today in 9th place in the overall. He's looking like one, that's for sure. He comes out your neck. But you don't blame him, is that what you're trying to say? Not been there long enough. All right, well, we'll see where you ain't no Tar Heel, boy. I love it. I love it. All right, so look at that. There it is. We're looking at this terrain now. are these rocks, do they look like they're growing from this morning's race? Sometimes they say rocks grow. Is this the case here in Marvin's Mountain?
Well, I felt that way today. I mean, it's like every lap I come through and, you know, I was hitting rocks that I didn't see the lap before. I don't know if fans are I don't know.
Well, did you and your suspension guy have a talk afterwards? Did you say thanks for the smooth ride, or hey man, we got to smooth this thing out?
I tell you, it was neat. That's you know, I could just get it, you know, stay steady on the
I think that was part of this one there at the 7-mile marker, so it's still running strong there. But is the ATV a lot like the side-by-side? You see something, you think, oh my God, here comes a bump, we got to slow down. But in reality, it's completely different. You want to speed up, but it actually speeds it out most of the time. In most cases, I mean, they're
right. Yeah, right. In a lot of cases, they try to hit these real nasty rock sections. You can't always do it, but a lot of times the faster you go, the smoother it is.
I can attest to that. When I rode with Larry Hendershot here a few years ago, I was about ready to tell him to park the car and let me out after the first lap. After we got through the first lap, got through all the traffic, got by everybody, got out front. Boy, we out front, let's take fine. But that it smoothed out. There was a rock sticking up that looked like maybe 12 to 18 inches out of the ground. And I was like, no! We hit it within we hit it at like 60 miles an hour, so it wasn't even there. It's crazy, man. I mean, but yeah, I think that's neat the way the ergonomics of suspension works like that.
Yeah, and most of the time, you know, you can't always do that.
Right.
But if you've got it set up good and stuff, it definitely makes your day a lot funner.
That's amazing how critical suspension is in every form of racing. Even in NASCAR racing, suspension is very, very
you know,
critical. There's Walker Fowler again, by the way.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with you, Rodney. You know, you can build your motor and have all the power in the world, but you know, if you can't control that, what good is it? You know, a lot of people has asked me over the years, you know, what would you do here, there, stuff, and I said, well, the first thing I would start with suspension. You know, I feel like that's one of the most important keys to being successful. You know, is getting a good suspension and getting it set up to where you're confident and comfortable with it.
And generally, when folks start rising levels and raising bars, so to speak, that's the one thing that is very critical in the program. It's all about suspension. As Walker Fowler makes his way, took the checker flag. I didn't realize that we were even need to be updated on that one, I guess.
Yeah, he looks like he pulled out a nice cushion there at the end.
Walker Fowler does it. I didn't realize he was so close to the finish line of this one. As I said, lost our timing and scoring here, so couldn't tell when he was due in. But that right there did it, man. That was history in the making right there. Walker Fowler just captured his 10th win this season, tying the great Chris BORICH and Caleb Russell with 10 wins. And look at this. How about it? Bryson Neal checking in, the Bidwell Bullet on Rocky, second place. And look at McClure right there in third. That's how tight those three were. And, man, Walker really skated. I got lucky there, I think, there in those closing moments there. That 7-mile marker, it looked like he was in a heap of trouble whenever we last saw him. But he's able to get things panned out. He takes the win. That's 10 of them here in 2017, and he's going to be looking at win number 11 in the future. But right now, I know all he wants us to do is celebrate for a moment, get his fire suit on, and get ready.
Sure, no doubt. He's had another great day today, and good to see him up there. You know, he's put in what it takes to make it happen. You know, and he deserves it. So
yes, he does.
Hats off to Walker.
Man, I tell you, that last 3 miles went like that, didn't it?
It did, yeah. They must have turned the afterburners on.
Something, man, because, I mean, that last 3 miles went faster than, wow, a long way, pretty quick there. But an hour and 50 minutes or so into this race is where we finish it up at. Walker Fowler finishing 37 seconds ahead of Bryson Neal. And let's head down to Mikey Waynes, who's live at the finish line.
Guys, we're down here, and I've got Walker Fowler. Man, another win.
Yeah, not too. BORICH got into McGill. McGill got into me, and I think McGill got the worst end of it from what I hear. But, you know, we made it in the woods after that, smooth in third. And Bryson actually kind of bonsai'd this little field section through some high grass. He must have, you know, he must have walked the track or something. So literally about 3 seconds, walked past him, got back around him. I just knew that the closer to the front you were today, the better off it was going to be. Just the dust was really bad. Woods were pretty good, but man, the fields or any of the like open road sections were just brutal talcum powder dust. You know, I had a good, comfortable lead there, and I don't know if I slowed down or, but I'd say around the 6 mile mark. Was on my grab bar. I was just like, uh-oh, I guess I need to pick it up. And you know, I picked it up another gear, and all of a sudden he wasn't behind me. So I hear he got hung up on something, but you know, I was just riding smooth. I didn't want to break the bike. We're testing some new shocks, just you know, testing some little things for next year, and you know, we've already won on it, so that's pretty cool. But 10th win feels good. It's cool to be with an elite group of guys that have done 10 in one season.
Absolutely, man. Well, big congratulations to you. Do you have number 11 and number 12 in you?
There's 11 in there. I don't know about 12, but there's 11.
Good deal. Back to you guys in the studio.
And of course, big day. That's win number 10 this season. That ties him again for the single wins or wins in a season, in a single season, and pretty impressive stuff that we got going on there. As we said, Bryson Neal checking in second place, and we're heading down with Mikey Waynes at the finish line.
I hear me. We're down here with Bryson Neal, man. Bryson, the second place finish today. It looked like there toward the end you were making some ground on Walker.
Yeah, I caught him on the last lap up there in the big rock garden. I kind of got a little sideways. I had to get off my bike for a split second. I tore my rotor piece off, and I bent my rotor, and I lost my rear brakes. And man, in the last lap, and I pushed it too hard. I lost my front brakes, and I clipped a tree, and I was like, I'm in good position. I'm going to back it down. I'm going to take my points. Today was a good day. I'm happy overall. The team, my dad, he built one heck of a bike. We couldn't be happier, so we'll take second place.
Well, good work, Bryson, man. You kind of talked about Rocky earlier today.
Yeah.
You're going the distance, man. There's 2 races left. Are we going to see you at the center of that box before this season's up?
Man, I sure hope so. I want it so bad now, you know what I mean? Everything I'm zeroing in on my program, everything's getting so much better, and the bikes came such a far way, and I feel really good, but Walker's tough. He's got his program dialed. He's the man right now, so hopefully we get a good start like I did today, and we get the race with him, and that's all we can do, keep him in sight, so we'll see you next round.
All righty, we'll kick it back over to you, Rodney.
All right, and of course, as we said, Bryson Neal, their second place position. What a phenomenal finish for him, and back in that number 3 spot, man, the Sneaky Snake right there, trying to close up gap as much as he possibly could, only finishing like 4.3 seconds behind Jared McClure. We're heading down to the finish line with Mikey Waynes again.
Well, thanks, Rodney. Here with Jared McClure, man. Third place finish today. This was a tough one, man.
Yeah, no kidding. Didn't have the start I really wanted. It was mid-pack, and that first lap was real scary in the dust. Really couldn't see anything. I was trying to take it easy, not wreck, you know, and figured we'd space out and then just charge. But I worked my way through pretty quick, and was behind Brent's third event there on the first lap, and seeing I was in fourth, and I was like surprised, you know. So I don't know. I guess rode past him then, and I could see Bryson in the distance. You know, I think we each had our fast section, so we kind of just you know, went back and forth, seeing each other, gapping each other, and then you know, that's where we finished second and third. So I mean, I'm happy considering the conditions, you know, with that stiff or something. So pretty happy to be on the box here. You know, the DWT tires, wheels, awesome in these rocks. You know, it was sweet out there. No worries, just pin it through them. The Elka Texera stuff soaked it right up, the suspension. So, you know, all in all, it was a good day.
Good work, man. This carries some momentum for you heading into these last 2 rounds.
Absolutely. You know, 2 podiums in a row now. Feels good. Feel confident, you know, and that's, you know, a lot of this is in your head. You're going to do good, and I think we'll be good from here on out.
There we go. Well, that's Jared McClure right there. Third place out of the overall today. So that's it for your top 3 out of the XC1.
Well, there you go. So congratulations again to Walker Fowler and to Bryson Neal. A spectacular run, as well as Jared, the Sneaky Snake McClure, as they take your top 3. Chris BORICH will finish up in the number 4 spots is Josh Merritt, Cody Collier in 7th, and believe it or not, all the way back in 8th place. First place in the XC2 Pro-Am class, Hunter Hart checking in there now, and I believe we're going to get a chance to stop down and talk to him as well as we go back down to Mikey Waynes.
Right there, man. But you're able to get first place out there today. Talk to us about this race.
Yeah, it was a great day. I was able to grab the XC2 hole shot, and then from there I led every lap when there was 2 laps to go. Unfortunately, in one of the rock gardens, I was cruising pretty good, and I just misjudged my mark a little bit, and Claude actually ran me down and chased me down and broke my tether and stuff like that out in the woods. And I was lucky enough to get up. My kind of back and butt was super sore. I could only kind of corner with. Other than that, it was a good day.
All right, that'll do it. That is Hunter Hart. Got the battle wounds to prove it, man. Taking the win out of the XC2.
Way to go, buddy. Dude, it's so bad.
Again, in 9th place overall, he takes the win of the College A Class A at the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Mountaineer Run GNCC. And folks, that's going to wrap things up as far as our live coverage here from Marvin's Mountaintop, and we're going to be back live coming up here shortly, just about a half hour or so, as we're going to be going with our UTV racing, and that'll be another big one. Walker Fowler will be back out for that one. We'll see whether or not he can put another Yamaha back up on the box. Walker Fowler takes the win here. Bryson Neal in 2nd, Jared McClure in 3rd, Chris Porch 4th, Wesley Wolfe, the rookie, rounds out the top 5. That's going to wrap it up for the day. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV, a great camera crew we've got here, our great technical staff, and of course Mikey Waynes, my co-announcer, and Kevin Trantham, thank you for stopping by there just a few moments ago. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day, everybody. MC Mountaineer Run GNCC. And folks, that's going to wrap things up as far as our live coverage here from Marvin's Mountaintop, and we're going to be back live coming up here shortly, just about a half hour or so, as we're going to be going with our UTV racing, and that'll be another big one. Walker Fowler will be back out for that one. We'll see whether or not he can put another Yamaha back up on the box. Walker Fowler takes the win here. Bryson Neal in 2nd, Jared McClure in 3rd, Chris Porch 4th, Wesley Wolfe, the rookie, rounds out the top 5. That's going to wrap it up for the day. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV, a great camera crew we've got here, our great technical staff, and of course Mikey Waynes, my co-announcer, and Kevin Trantham, thank you for stopping by there just a few moments ago. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day, everybody.